Hey there, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we take complex stuff and, well, make it make sense for you. Today, we're jumping into something pretty exciting, actually. It's about taking those very first steps towards becoming a data engineer. And we're especially thinking about those of you who maybe haven't gone through, formal schooling for this.
Yeah, it's such a relevant topic right now. I mean, think about it. We're practically swimming in data, aren't we? This whole explosion of data in the 21st century smartphones, all the digital tech, social media, it all feeds into what we call big data.
Right. And everyone wants a piece of that action.
Exactly. Every company, every organization, they want insights from that data. They're thinking, how can we build better products or how do we improve what we already have?
Yeah.
And that massive need, well, that's what really pushed cloud computing forward. You needed the power to crunch all that data. And from there, it's spurred on machine learning and, modern AI as we see it today.
So where does data engineering fit into that picture?
Data engineering is the bedrock. It's the plumbing, if you like. You've got all this raw data pouring in, right? And people downstream want clean, useful information for their reports or their ML models. They want answers. Data engineers, they build the systems, the pipelines. They clean the data, structure it, make sure it flows smoothly from source to insight. Honestly, none of the cool AI stuff happens without them. It's foundational.
Okay, got it. So for this deep dive, our mission is pretty clear then. We're going to break down those absolute first steps. What skills do you really need starting out? What can you actually do on day one? We've got a great source guiding us here.
Yeah.
All right, let's unpack this properly. Before we get into the how, maybe just quickly recap. What is data engineering at its core? And more importantly, for someone starting out, what are those absolute must-have skills to even begin?
Right. So like we said, it's all about enabling insights from big data. It connects everything, the cloud, ML, AI, it makes it all work. And for day one, for someone starting from absolute zero, our source really hammers home two things: SQL and Python.
SQL and Python.
Yeah. Those are your non-negotiables to start. And the great news is there are tons of free ways to learn both. You don't need expensive courses right off the bat.
Perfect. Let's tackle SQL first then. It comes up constantly when you talk about data.
Yeah.
So for someone listening who's thinking, okay, SQL, where do I even start? What are the practical steps? Like, what do they physically need to do?
Okay, yeah, let's get practical.
Yeah.
First things first, you need somewhere to actually run SQL queries. So
Yeah.
step one, you got to install a relational database. Think of PostgreSQL or maybe MySQL. These are like sophisticated filing cabinets for structured data.
Okay, install a database.
Yep.
Like PostgreSQL.
Yep. Then, step two, you need a way to talk to that database easily. That's where an IDE, an integrated development environment, or a client comes in. Tools like dbeaver or SQL Workbench are popular choices. They give you an interface to write your SQL, see the results, manage the database.
You forgot it.
And there are good articles out there, like the one our source points to, that walk you through setting up PostgreSQL with dbeaver specifically. Honestly, just getting that setup working, that's a win. It's your first bit of troubleshooting, which is a huge part of the job later on anyway.
That makes sense. Okay, so you've got your database, you've got dbeaver talking to it.
Yeah.
But it's empty, right? You need data. This is where it gets really interesting. How do you get data to play with?
Exactly. You need raw material. And for that, step four is brilliant. Create an account on Kaggle.com.
Kaggle, yeah, I've heard of that. Lots of data sets there.
Tons. And they're free. You can find data on almost anything: movie ratings, housing prices, you name it. So you go there, find a data set that looks interesting, download it. It's usually a CSV file or something similar. And then you upload that data into the PostgreSQL database you just installed.
Ah, okay. So now you have a real database with real data in it.
Precisely. Now you're not just doing abstract exercises, you're working with actual data, which is way more engaging and, frankly, more useful for learning.
So what does this all mean for actually learning and practicing SQL? Once the data's in, what specific SQL stuff should our listener focus on mastering?
Right. Now you start querying that data. The source highlights key concepts. You absolutely need to understand joins. That's how you combine data from different tables. Super fundamental.
Like linking customer info to their orders.
Exactly that. Then subqueries, queries inside other queries for more complex questions. Ordering your results, obviously. Aggregation. Things like SEM, count, average to summarize data.
Okay, joins, subqueries, ordering, aggregation. What else?
Window functions. These are a bit more advanced but incredibly powerful. They let you do calculations across sets of rows, like ranking sales within categories without collapsing the rows. Also, case when then statements. That's your basic if then logic in SQL, really useful for creating categories or flags. And finally, common table expressions, or CTEs. They help break down long, complex queries into more readable, manageable chunks.
Wow, okay, that's a solid list. Where can people learn these?
W3 Schools is a fantastic free resource mentioned for learning the syntax and trying out examples for all of these concepts, really accessible.
And once someone feels like they're getting the hang of those basics, using their Kaggle data, how can they, test themselves further, push it a bit?
Good question. Once you're feeling a bit more comfortable, platforms like LeetCode are great. They have specific SQL problems, often based on real interview questions. It's a good way to benchmark your skills and practice problem solving under pressure.
Okay, that's a clear pass for SQL. Let's shift gears then. The second mandatory skill, Python. What does the day one journey look like for Python, according to our source?
Python's start is maybe even a bit easier logistically. Step 1. You just need a Google account. Most people have one already. If not, quick to create. Step 2. Use Google Colab.
Google Colab, what's that?
It's basically a free online environment where you can write and run Python code right in your web browser. The huge advantage for beginners is you don't have to install Python or any libraries on your own computer to get started. You just open Colab and boom, you can start coding. It removes a big initial hurdle.
That sounds incredibly convenient. So for someone totally new to Python, maybe even new to coding altogether, what are the absolute essential programming basics they need to nail down first?
Yeah, you start with the fundamentals. Our source points to things like collections. These are ways Python stores groups of items. So you'll learn about lists, which are ordered sequences, sets for unique items, and dictionaries, which store key value pairs like a dictionary.
Lists, sets, dictionaries.
Yeah.
Got it.
Then you need loops, how to make the computer repeat tasks, which is essential for working with data. Enumeration is often useful with loops, letting you track the index and the item. Beyond that, you'll need the basics of program flow, so IFL statements for making decisions. And learning how to define and use functions is key for writing reusable, organized code. Oh, and crucially for data work, learning how to read data from files, especially common formats like CSVs, that directly applies.
And resources for learning these Python basics.
Again, W3 Schools is mentioned as a great free resource for getting started with these core Python concepts.
Okay, and stepping beyond just the basic Python syntax, are there specific Python libraries that aspiring data engineers should focus on early?
Absolutely. The two big ones highlighted are Pandas and Matplotlib.
Pandas and Matplotlib, what do they do?
Pandas is your workhorse for data manipulation and analysis in Python. Think of it like superpowered spreadsheets in code. You can load data, clean it, filter it, transform it, aggregate it all very efficiently, even with large data sets. It's indispensable. Matplotlib is for data visualization, creating charts and plots, because looking at raw numbers isn't always intuitive, right? Visualizing data helps you spot patterns, trends, outliers.
Makes sense. See the data.
Exactly. Now, NumPy is often mentioned too. It's fundamental for numerical operations, and Pandas is actually built on top of it. Learning NumPy is definitely beneficial. But the advice here is you don't have to master NumPy on day one. Focus on Pandas and Matplotlib first to get productive with data tasks quickly.
Okay, Pandas for manipulation, Matplotlib for visualization. That seems like a really practical starting point. It really does lay things out clearly. Taking this seemingly huge field and breaking it down into, okay, install this, learn that concept, try this library, makes it feel achievable.
It does. But, this brings up a really important point. The source calls this day one. We need to be realistic about what day one means here. How long should someone actually expect this initial learning phase to take?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's probably not just one 24-hour day, right?
Not at all, especially for an absolute beginner. Realistically, working through installing the tools, grabbing data, and getting comfortable with those core SQL and Python concepts, that's likely going to take several weeks, maybe more, maybe less, depending on how much time you have, your background, And crucially, the source emphasizes this. Expect ups and downs. It's not going to be a smooth, linear progression.
Oh, for sure. Learning anything new involves hitting walls.
Totally. You'll get stuck. Code won't run. You won't understand an error message. You'll feel frustrated. That's completely normal. It's part of the process.
Absolutely. And I love the direct encouragement from the source here. Stick to it, and I know you will do it. Keep going. Keep learning. It's simple, but powerful. It's about persistence, isn't it? This initial phase is about building that solid foundation brick by brick, even when it feels tough.
Exactly. Embracing those ups and downs is key. That's where the real learning and resilience get built.
So, wrapping this up, what we've done here is give you, our listener, a really concrete roadmap for starting your data engineering journey. We've broken down those first essential skills, SQL and Python, into actionable steps, tools, concepts, and resources. It really demystifies that starting point, showing it's possible even without a formal background.
Definitely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with, building on that idea of day one. While we've talked about the practical skills for your first day of learning, perhaps the real day one, the true beginning, isn't just that first session with SQL or Python. It's the moment you commit. The moment you decide, okay, I'm going to do this consistently. You accept there will be challenges, those ups and downs. You understand that mastering these foundations takes dedicated effort over time. That commitment, that decision to persist through the learning curve, maybe that's the real day one in any complex field you want to enter. It's less about the first lesson and more about the enduring mindset.